Hello and welcome back. I am Arumba. Thank you for joining me. Let's play some more Civilization 5 with the Filthy Tutor. How's it going, Filthy?
I'm doing well, man. I'm
Yeah.
getting hyped about this game.
Yeah.
So,
Are you still buzzed from last episode?
well, we're going to break this wall again. It's been nearly a week since we recorded that last, so no, I'm doing well now. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So we're Sweden, right? I've been playing a whole bunch of Civ 5 against Deity on my own here between the last week just to try. And I had some interesting experiences with Carthage. I just want to say quickly that Carthage is a lying, cheating bitch. She's just a bitch. She's a whore. I hate her. She's all like, "I'm your friend," and she's marching this massive army next to me. And I'm thinking, that doesn't really look very good. But she says she's my friend. She's probably going to attack somebody else, right? No. So
I was talking to you a little bit when we were settling cities about how I like distance between myself and the AI because maybe the players who play with them a lot more are able to predict exactly when they're going to attack you and when they're not. But for me, like, unlike versus players who do everything they can to hide their intention that they're going to attack you to the last minute, the AI is pretty blatant about it. There's just an army marching towards you. You're like, oh yeah, okay. So as we said, like, this is why we have that unit fortified in Porto, right by Porto right there, is because we're never going to have any advance warning when we get attacked from that city because we're just too close over there. So
yeah, I'm seriously wondering if just building a fort there wouldn't be a good idea.
We don't have engineering tech, I don't believe, which is the tech we need for forts. So it's going to be a while for that before we even have that opportunity. So you see it right there, engineering. Yep.
Oh, okay. They're not unlocked in the beginning of the game.
And oh my god, so this is now a pet peeve of mine. I'm really hoping Civ 6 release is going to be a little different. Do you see how we have an icon for everything in Civ 5? So you see that trade route icon? It looks like the two arrows going between two cities on the engineering tab again. Yep, that means +1 trade route. That's what that means. So in the Civ 6 tech tree, there are techs that give you +1 envoy. But you have to read the tech. Like,
yeah,
it's not just
it's
like a
buried in the tooltip. Exactly. Yeah.
And that drives me nuts. I'm like, we've had this in Civ 5 for forever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to be like, and check, comment sections on YouTube again are like, oh, you just need to read that. Well, I want to be able to scan quickly through an unfamiliar tech tree and find icons that make sense in terms of here's your next envoy, here's your next whatever else. Because that stuff is super useful visually. So
yeah. Oh, it always confuses the hell out of me. I'm always every one of those texts that gives an envoy, because there's a couple of them.
Yeah.
I'm always like, when the hell did I get an envoy? I just get so surprised by it. Yeah. So one other addition since the last episode is that there was a guy, I think it was actually on episode 1 or 2 of this campaign, that had said, hey, that thing you were asking for, keyboard shortcuts, I did that. And I found it, and I've been messing about with it in my solo time here. And so I'm using it now, and now when Filthy says something like, hey, press F6, I'm going to be like, well, what do you want me to do? Because that's different now. Because all the keyboard shortcuts are completely different, which is great. But here's my favorite part, is I can cycle between workers, right? I have keyboard shortcuts for science and social policies, which is great. And you can actually see here, like, construct mine is now A, and then cancel the command is going to be Z. X is for, like, remove tile. D is for, like mine and farm are, like, the only two that are weird. But pretty much every other special improvement is just D. D for, like, do, right? Like, do improve this pasture. Just do it. Do your job. Because why have different keyboard shortcuts on a tile that can only be improved with one possible improvement?
Well, that's not true, right? Because you can always put a fort on a tile.
True, but it's another one of those things where, like, 90% of the time, that's R, that's fine, that hasn't changed. But, like, 90% of the time, like, you're not going to build, like, a farm on sheep, right? Can you even do that? I don't think you can.
No.
So
the only time you can build farms on strategitic resources or bonus resources if you haven't discovered them. So you could build a farm on a horse tile before you have horse tech, for example.
Okay, so let's get back into the zone here. So you want me to go ahead and process workers, and then we'll talk about units and stuff, and maybe
is that mod a DLC or is it a mod?
It can be done both ways. I'm using it right now as a mod.
All right. If you play multiplayer, you won't be able to use that then unless it's in as a DLC because you can't run a mod. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay.
So right now I'm using it as a mod for only one reason. There is a DLC version of it, which is awesome because it is multiplayer compatible. In fact, I can use it with you guys if we do a multiplayer session. Which I will be doing because I can't play without it now. I'm a huge proponent of keyboard shortcuts. The only issue is that the No Quitters mod and the keyboard shortcuts mod appear to modify at least one of the same files, and so it crashes the game at first. But there's an instructions guide in the README of the mod on how to basically make like a parity patch so that you can splice the two together so that you can actually use it. So I'm going to do that at some point between now and I think we're looking at actually like Saturday maybe is when we're going to look at doing it. So. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and press A, Z, Q, and then here I can see again this one's going to be D, right? So we want to process these workers, right?
Yep.
So DZQ, and this is exactly what you had said. You know, process every worker every turn because you want to get the resources right away. And I had said, well, I just wish that I could, you know, go to every unit even if they have been given a task. It'd be really cool. Hawaii, hey, I almost did paradox. Hey, Firaxis, how about in the options menu here somewhere, you have a workers only work for 1 turn button instead of having this, you know, like, you know, do this for 6 turns. I don't want that. I just want them to do the task for 1 turn. Why can't that be an option in the menu? That's my one complaint.
Okay, so do me a favor and just give me some refreshers here. So open up our tech tree just for a minute, not the whole thing. Just what are we actually physically teching right now? Do we have anything queued up?
Okay, so just this last 1 worker here. So tech tree, we're working on writing. 2 turns to go. Social, we are 11 turns away from our next social. We've got.
Yep.
Because you've probably played how many different games of Civ between now and last week? 5, 6, 7, 10?
Yeah, something in the range of 5 or 6.
You're talking full games. How long are your games? How many turns? Usually?
We play on quick speed, and it depends on the game type. They're going to be over around 170 on a free-for-all, probably 170, 180 on a free-for-all, maybe a little bit earlier. And then teamers, it's really hard to predict. It depends on how long the arrows go. So
you're talking like over 1,000 turns of Civ that you've played. So you probably don't remember anything at all about this game, this map, this save.
It will take me a minute to get back into it. What I do remember is we have our 4 cities out. You wanted to go tradition. That worked out pretty well. We have a fairly good luxury situation. We did lose one of our luxuries to Persia, if I remember correctly. And we're teching, I believe, writing so we can start our national college timing and ironworking, I think, or whatever Colossus tech is. I've forgotten the name of it right now, for swordsman, right? So that's what we're headed for.
Swordsman? We already have. We don't have it yet. Okay. 6 turns to go. I think we had also just recently done something where we traded away our only source of copper for something we didn't have because we knew we were going to online this copper. Okay. We're very close to being 0.
Mouse over that. Yeah, mouse over that for a second more, the happiness, just to see what I think we're trading out gold too, right?
I have a hard time parsing
resources
this.
Exported, yes. And you can see, so there's 2 things to look under that.
I actually find this one here, resources available to be more useful.
I think you can get most of it. I guess this includes strategic resources. That's fine. But we can see that in the top right. I don't think we need to enter that interface to do that. So if you mouse over that, you see the one that says 22 happiness from all sources, 12 from at least having one of the following luxury resources. That tells you what luxuries you're actually getting happiness from right now. So we're getting gems, silk, and truffles, but not copper. And then we can see resources exported are the resources we're actually selling and how many turns remaining on that. So we're selling to Germany, copper for 29 more turns, to Shoshone, gold for 7 more turns.
Okay, so we're going to online another copper in just another turn or 2, and we're also going to get our gold back in 7 turns if we're really desperate for happiness.
Yes.
Which we probably will be, because we're going to keep growing, right?
Yep. I think we're good.
Okay, so let's go process this last worker.
What was this worker doing?
He was chopping forests is what he was doing.
Okay, just speeding up the production stuff in there. That's fine.
Yeah. Because remember, we were pissed we lost access to this, and what we were doing...
1 turn.
The argument was, well, we should chop this forest before one of these guys takes it, because otherwise we can't get the production from it until we bomb the location.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Yep.
He had nothing else to do. Now, we haven't actually done anything with roads yet. How come we have 4 cities and we haven't tried to connect them with roads at all?
Because it's too early to do that. We don't have enough workers. So the early game priority for workers, I mean, we talked about this before. When you send out an expand, the expand is actually very, very weak in terms of production and growth that it gives you. And workers are going to give you something between like 50 and a little, maybe sometimes lower depending on the tile. Something between like 33% and 50% boost to every single tile you're working in the early game, right? If you're working a 3 food tile, you're getting a 33% boost to make that a 4. And if you're working a 2 food, like a 2 tile, and you build 1 more improvement on it, it's going to be up to 3 yield instead of 2 yield, right? So the early game purpose of workers is to jumpstart your cities and get your production of food coming in as quickly as possible. So when we have worker time, roads would be great. If we could instantly connect roads, we might not even if we could instantly connect it, because the way the formula works for the gold you get off roads, you really want the roads to pay for themselves before you place them down, unless you have to have them for military immediately. Mm-hmm. So kind of the 2 factors for us is our workers are busy with other things, and the second factor is until our cities are a certain population, and the general rule of thumb is 1 tile apart for each population point in the expand, then we don't really want to connect them either.
Wait,
so the road from...
Say that one more time. 1 population apart for each tile? So like 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles? So we want this to be 4 pop? Is that what you're saying?
And yeah, that's roughly how you do it. I mean, it's a rule of thumb. It's not going to be perfect for that. There are percentages in there. There is a formula out there, and I've at some point known this formula, but it was mentally more efficient to just remember the rough rule of thumb with that, which is basically
yeah, income from city connections -1 base per route, 1.1 gold per citizen.
See, that makes almost no sense since we have no city connections. So, I don't know what that is. I mean,
it's saying we're making none, and then this is what the city connection would be: -1 plus 1.1 per person that's connected.
Okay.
So
there you go. So there's your rough rule of thumb. They're 1 for that. So that's interesting that it even breaks it down there. I'm not sure if this breaks it down like this in the base game or not. Perhaps it does. But either way,
highly doubt it.
So yeah, I agree. So a road to Sigtuna would be 4 cost for us, and it would give us 4.4. Okay.
Now there are some civs though that have like significantly reduced road costs, right?
Yeah, like Inca. You're talking Inca.
Yeah, I think I tried Inca a couple days ago. Yeah. Okay, so this guy, do we want to try to get military access or just go around? I mean, let me just see.
I kind of want to go through. So if we can get open borders with him, that'd be great. I don't know if he'll give it to us though.
He wants.
Don't give him iron. He doesn't actually value iron right now. So he just tacks it on to be a dick.
So we have nothing else we can offer.
That's fine. 2 gold per turn is what open borders costs. So.
And you're willing to pay that? No questions asked. You would just do it.
I want to see as much as the map, and especially the early game city-states here. If we meet 1 city-state in there, we've almost paid that back, right? If we're getting 15 gold off meeting a city-state, that's 7 turns of that or whatever, and we actually get to see the city-state. The sooner we meet city-states, the sooner we'll get quests for city-states, the sooner we get free influence with city-states. So,
right. There was
I'd like to just see.
There was 1 city-state that I ran into in my solo play where I got no gold for meeting them. Why would that be?
Had you stolen multiple times?
Yes.
Workers, okay. So if you ever steal workers...
I attacked 2 separate city-states for workers.
Yeah, as soon as you do that, you trigger a city-states wary message, and all city-states no longer give you gold when you meet them.
So never do that? It's a bad idea?
You need to know what you're doing before you make that decision, because you cost yourself long-term stuff for short-term gain.
All right, and the resting point with 1 of the city-states was reduced to -20, but not all of them. Why was it only 1?
Well, because it's not only 1. What happened is the final resting point, yes, that is only 1 or sometimes a couple. And I don't know exactly what determines how many of that, but your actual rate of decay with all city-states was permanently modified.
Okay, so bad idea. Don't do it. Got it. Okay. Yeah. This guy was heading north because we were concerned. We wanted to put him in the other location, the defensive spot, to guard this worker, I think it was.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think they'll steal the worker, but we do want him fortified. The advantage, and we talked about this already, like the benefit of having fortified units is their increased combat strength, right? So.
Right. Shall we scout a little bit, or just...
Yeah, at least to the hill, at the very, very, very least.
Okay, not much actually to do, really, here on this turn. Sweden's OP is knocking out a caravan. Shift space is how you end turns now, so you don't have to move your hand across the keyboard. Pretty nice.
Very nice, very nice.
Okay, we got some more stone. Oh, one thing I would like to do is just check to confirm, because again, it's been a while. I want to see what we're working and if we're happy with it. We're locking at 2-1. That seems pretty weak. What are we trying to do here? Why is this locked?
Probably because we care about the food here. So let's decide. I mean, we need to make that decision. We probably have made the decision, but it's time to remake it. Yeah.
1 production for 3 in 1 culture. That seems like a weird trade-off to me. But okay.
Yeah. Well, we can make the decision in a minute. That's just literally a judgment call. So what are we doing right now? What do we have time to do, and what are we trying to do out of the capital? I like the early caravan, but we only have tech for 1 caravan, and I don't think we have more than 1 granary up. Or do we have more than 1 granary up? No. Or maybe 2. Does Sigtuna have a granary up? Probably. If we're building a watermill, we almost certainly have already finished the granary. So what we're doing right now is we're setting up basic city infrastructure so we can start producing libraries, so we can start getting science going. An early trade route to our cap is going to be extremely good for us, or potentially an early trade route to one of the cities, the AI players would be pretty good too. You get a lot of science from that. Yeah, go ahead and assign. You can do your worker stuff. That chopping out is fine there. Building some farms in the other city is fine. We have culture pasture. I forgot about that. That's very nice.
This guy's either going to be working on another...
So what do we have? Lux? Do we have trapping yet? I don't know what we do. We probably have cattle tech.
We don't, but it's...
We have pastures, so that would be worth doing. We have pasture culture. It'd be very good in the capital to get some pastures out. We were going to... Okay, if I remember correctly, we're considering pre-building some warriors to upgrade into swordsmen. We could always use workers here. There's no perfect number of workers. It really depends on the terrain you're interacting with and how quickly you get them. But at the bare minimum, we're probably rocking 4 workers right now, 5 workers right now. I'd like the bare minimum. I'd like to see 6 for Tradition Empire, 4 cities, and realistically, maybe even another one would be good. So getting and the sooner we invest in the worker, the more of a payoff comes out of that. So that's certainly something. That we just expanded, I think, last turn to the silk. We're going to want to get that online because we can sell that immediately, even though it is a duplicate luxury, but we can sell it for quite a lot of gold per turn, so that would be worth doing.
Yeah, good test for this one.
Yeah, and we do have masonry or don't have masonry right now? We probably do, right? Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the tech to improve the stone, which we're actually considering working over there, and brings it at least to a 2-2 tile. So all of these things are going on right now. How long do we have on that pasture over there with the worker already up there?
One quick thought. I'm just trying to calculate here. So it's going to take us to 3 turns. It's a rough terrain territory, so it's going to take 3 turns no matter what. We don't have a spare half turn here to do a quick improvement on that farm, do we?
Right. No.
Well, if we go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, we actually do.
We actually, well,
yeah.
No, we don't. So if we go here and then improve, then it's going to take 1. No, we do. You're right.
Yeah,
1,
yeah.
2.
But I don't want to do that either way, because my actual thought here is I don't want that worker moving up there. I'd really like to get, we're working that, the cattle is a really high yield tile in the early game before it's improved, and we have pasture culture, and we have an unimproved cattle in our capital. I really would like to see that get improved, and probably the sheep get improved. We have that worker up there who's finishing the cattle in Sigtuna. He can go chop the silk out after. That's probably going to be the next priority for him anyways. So.
Okay, so this guy's going to go down to here, or to the... Trapping is going to... We don't have trapping yet, so we got to go here.
Yep.
And we also don't have a pasture here.
That's correct. Either of those are fine. The yield is the same in terms of what well, one gives us food, but one gives us production. But in terms of getting +1 yield is going to be the same. Yep.
Okay, well that one's closer, so we'll go to that one, I guess.
Okay.
And you keep scouting, or?
Yeah, I'm okay with a couple more steps north. I don't want to go more than a couple turns, but it would be nice to see what's up there. Not in range of the city shot, because the city shot, if you look, already is at 20 compared to 8. So if you want to fortify that worker, probably the tile right in front of Sigtuna is the one to do it on. The warrior, excuse me, not the worker. Yeah.
Right there, you wouldn't...
No.
You wouldn't go out here to protect the pasture?
No, we're not going to be able to protect the pasture if they attack us from there.
Well, you're ever the optimist.
Well, it's not like the pasture is going to be lost from not being able to protect it. It's just going to be pillaged temporarily, so it'll be fine.
I recall you saying last episode that you wanted to send this to another location to send food back to the capital, which I thought was very interesting at first, but I kind of understand it now. So where would we send it to? What determines how you decide where to send from? Number 1, it has to have a granary.
Wrist. Yes, so granaries, you can't send any resource until you at least have the granary from that, so that will be...
So Sigtuna or Stockholm both have granaries. Yep. These are our choices. How do you choose?
Well, the food is going to be identical. It's just the food is only based on era in this game. It's not based on anything existing in the city, so it makes no difference from a food perspective. We're going to get the same amount of food from either. The likelihood is if we get attacked, we're getting attacked from Porto. And that just makes it more likely that it will get pillaged over that way. The only exception to that for our particular position is, didn't we just have a barb camp spawn in the south? Yeah. So that barb camp will be spitting out barbarians that could potentially, and we have no military units over here, that could potentially become a problem. So I guess in this scenario, I would put it in Sigtuna, and I would just try to baby it a little bit if it got attacked. Like, we have to be aware of the route it's going to take.
Okay, and so unlike in... Well, is this the same as in Civ 6?
Opposite, Civ 5 and Civ 6. So the city that's going to get the yield is the destination city in Civ 5, while the city that gets the yield in Civ 6 is the origin city.
Any idea why they may have changed that?
Nope.
And how did he just teleport?
That's how it works. I mean, we have teleportation in Civ 6 too, right? All the great people can teleport from city to city.
Yeah. Hey, just a quick side thought. I tried out doing an honor start with... who was it? What's the nation that the civilization? Excuse me, let me get my terms right. The civilization that automatically gets cultures. Is it Montezuma?
Culture Aztec.
Kills? Yeah, I went Montezuma or Aztec honor, and it was
stack.
It was kind of insane how much culture and gold and everything you end up getting when you go honor. Granted, I got my butt kicked, right? Because after your jaguars kind of trail off, the Deity AI is like, oh, that was nice. That was cute.
we liked your attempt.
Yeah.
All right, what's our scout doing here? I kind of would like the scout to go watch for barbarians in the south, or potentially go get some information north. I don't care which. We need to do one or the other. All right. And the other thing is,
this guy's already here, so.
Okay, so you think you're comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable with scouting, I think, unless you want to send him as well.
I wouldn't mind him going like northeast.
Okay. Let's do that then.
All right. So decisions in our capital. I want to grow our capital, and I value. If you really would like to, I mean, we want warriors next. It doesn't have to be this instant next, but we're going to gold upgrade some warriors into swordsmen because it's a more efficient way to produce that timing wise. A watermill in our capital would be great because, especially as Sweden, we're going to have very strong centralized production with their unique national building. It'd be or national wonder. It'd be very, very nice to work as many tiles as many hills as possible once we get that up. So getting early growth in the capital is super good, and we could use one more worker. If I had to choose personally, my priority list would be worker, warrior, watermill right now. But I could be open to persuasion if you have some strong preference elsewhere. And it's
No.
just the greediest play I can think of right now is getting the worker first.
Now, how come you choose the greedy play so often when we're talking about playing against the... Do you really find DD AI to be this easy?
Yes.
You always choose the greedy play. That's what I've noticed.
It's a matter of you. I mean, the greedy is it's a terminology that may not actually be particularly accurate for what we're talking about. If you can think of greedy as an investment in infrastructure. So Civilization 5, the whole premise of the game, especially in multiplayer, but also true in Deity, is how greedy can you be? How much infrastructure can you invest in while still surviving? That's the challenge of the game, right? So the greedier in that sense I can be, the better. And right now I feel fairly safe. We have a spearman and a warrior fortified. I don't really care what they throw at us there. They're not going to take that city. It's a tradition city on a hill. We're 9 turns away from wall tech. We'll be fine if they come attack us there. We have swordsman tech coming. We're gonna build some warriors afterwards. Let's get the infrastructure investment out first, and that is the workers. The sooner you get workers out, the more they're gonna pay off because the more tiles they have time to improve.
Okay,
How are we doing on time?
It's time to take a break here, but we've got a lot to do today, so I guess we'll have to wrap it up here. We'll be back though tomorrow. I'm enjoying getting back into this. I gotta say, this is one of the sessions that I look forward to the most right now, is playing these TAC team and the Tutor campaign, which, by the way, I've had so many people ask me to tutor you in EU4. So we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm interested. We'll definitely have to talk about, I don't know if that game or some other game, but I would love to learn a game from you in the same way that we're doing this. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, cool. All right, we'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon.
See you guys soon.